Reminder, if you're interested in online coaching, my email's down in the bio. Send me an email. Okay, welcome today, 341. Body weight is down to 207.6. The lowest I've been since finishing my diet. I'm going to give a quick breakdown of my workout, and then I want to do a story time after. So these L-sits, 3 pounds per side. I get like 17 and a half. My best is 23. So I knew they felt less painful on my back, but I knew obviously I wasn't going to PR. I do a dynamic set of curls with 140 pounds for a set of 10, which I haven't done those in like 4 months. Pound for pound best. My left bicep feels absolutely terrible. I just did it because Jeremy asked me to try them out. We'll talk about that at the end if there's time. The one arm dead hangs, I did 100 pounds, just very comfortable. Just want to get my hands and my skin to adapt to it. So didn't push those to the limit. And then the step ups is another improvement, but in speed work. But we'll talk about it at the end. Okay, story time. Okay, so this story is going to be about my grandparents, their farm, and a cat that I had named SHER KAHN. This is sparked on by Adam at the 5 a.m. squat club. Shout out to him. So if you don't know him, he has created his own farm, grows his own livestock, and uses them to feed his family. So he was saying in his live that his animal, Cece, you could tell he had an emotional attachment to the animal and was, thinking that the day is going to come where he has to put it down to get it ready to prepare for food and all that. So that's where this story time comes from. So I'm going to tell a little bit about my grandma on my mom's side. So my mom's family, they're like Irish and German and something like that. I'm not sure. They lived in Kentucky and Indiana. On my dad's side, they're Italian, and they came here by the way of New York. So again, my grandma on my mom's side, sweetest woman you could ever know. She's the one that suggested to lay down this slab of concrete that I lift on. So yeah, I have a special attachment to it. When people say like I'm gonna break it or whatever, in 2013 we laid down this slab because I had broke the other one fairly quickly. So yeah, every time I lift on it, definitely I'm always thinking about her. But also, yeah, they're dirt poor, and there was a train that stopped by, and the hobos knew that if they jumped off and went up to the end of the hill there and knocked on the door, no matter what time of day it was, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning, my grandma would get up and get them beans, rice, whatever it was, even though they barely had whatever to survive, right? And also, it's funny because I remember I was at her house one day. We're going through old stuff, and she had a book full of like uncles, her grandparents, like, whatever. And it was all, their obituaries, and it was all duels, right? Like duels at high noon really was a thing. You're 2-0, you're 3-0, you're doing great. But when you have your first loss, that's the end, right? So these guys are all passing away there in Kentucky, 20, 21 years old. So it's just like, it's crazy to think about like how we ended up surviving, how we ended up getting here, right? Okay, so a family friend had a litter of cats. I went over there, picked one out. I named him SHER KAHN. He was a tab, right? Looks like a lion or a tiger or whatever, from the Jungle Book. Stripes and orange nose and all that, right? I had him since I was like 5 years old. Living up here, like I said, there used to be no other houses up here. I didn't really have a perspective on the animal because I didn't have anything to compare it to. Later on over the years, like when my little brother was born, he had gotten cats, every single one. Turkey vulture maybe or something. The coyotes just get sick and pass away. None of them survived, right? Except SHER KAHN that I had. As far as mice, I didn't even know we had mice. This man was undefeated. I would just always hear the mouse, and he's just throwing it up in the air, playing with it. Again, we had some cats later on, and they would the mice would get away and stuff. But again, undefeated. I had seen him do things like the brick wall you see behind on the side of my house. He had been hiding on the brick wall, jumped up and got a bird midair, not to eat, just for sport. And then the craziest thing that I saw, like this back fence that you see here, like he was like an outdoor cat, right? My dad would he would whistle at night, and he would come sprinting in back to the house, but he was outdoors all the time. So yeah, I was outside and I hear something and I look out back where those houses you see right now. Again, it used to be mountains there, and I see a coyote and I see Sher Khan come sprinting up, and he jumps through the fence, and the coyote lunges after him and he gets his head stuck. And Sher Khan, I mean, I'm sure he was probably not going to make it anyway, but Sher Khan goes around and eats at his neck. And, you know, those coyotes were so mad. You would always hear them howling so mad they could never get him, you know, all the years that he was out there. And like I said, all the other cats, they're all gone. You know, so I've had him for a long time, like 13 years. And, you know, there's times where you don't appreciate. I had just graduated high school. I believe I was at my friend's house. I get a call from my mom. I missed the call. I hear the voicemail. She said she had either pulled in the driveway or reversed, and he had ran under the car, and he had, you know, hobbled off to the side of the house. She was too scared to go out. I feel bad. I feel really bad looking back at it, because I sat there for like 3 minutes in shock before I got in the car. I just, you know, I feel bad because I know he was suffering, but I just couldn't believe it, you know. And she felt so bad about the situation, but I always thought, like, for some reason he just wanted to go. He felt it was his time, because there's nothing driving 3 miles per hour to get this cat, like, that's an apex predator. You know, I just felt like he did that on purpose. So anyway, I come home. I see him on the side of the house. I was there with my friend. I had called my mom on the way back. I asked, you know, hey, can you give me like directions or address to a vet? So when I get there, and I grabbed him, his leg was mangled. It ran over some of his like ribs. I'm sure he was having like a hard time breathing. He was pissed. I picked him up and he was just scratching me. He was biting me. He was chewing on me that whole car ride. Like when we got into the vet, you know, my shirt was ripped up. I was, yeah, from the chest, the arms, I was bleeding everywhere, but I didn't care, you know. And I felt so bad. I'm just like looking at him, and then we get there. They you know, they give him some medicine. They stabilize him. And during the time, my mom and my grandma had come, you know, in case we're gonna do like a surgery or whatever, because I don't have any money. And yeah, they're like, you know, at first I thought they said that, you know, that they might amputate a leg or something like that. And then it was a little bit more than that. And I'm just sitting there thinking about it. I'm like, yeah, you know, it's like a thoroughbred, right? When a thoroughbred gets taken out, all he knows is just his races. He doesn't want to live the rest of his life in a wheelchair, right? So I was like, yeah, I don't think that's not fair to him. So I decided, you know, let's just put him down. And, you know, it's funny that I had friends and they're like, dude, the money's not an issue. Like, we would have put up money for him. Like, we love that cat. That cat was crazy, you know. But I was just like, you know, if he weighed 250 pounds, the whole world would be in trouble. Like, that's an apex predator. Those things are aliens. I guess they look like cute, cuddly little things, but yeah, that's an apex predator right there. So, yeah, I just remember I took him into the room. And I was holding him, and he was just looking at me, and I was just apologizing to him. You know, I was just saying sorry to him. And, you know, I'm just like looking in his eyes, and then they give him the medicine, and then the eyes just spiral and they close. And like, man, that was like 20 years ago. And it still hits me so hard, even just I didn't even want to say this video, because, you know, so I thank the doctor, or whatever you call him, the vet, and then I walk out. My mom's there with my grandma, and I got my head in between my hands, and I'm just inconsolable, I guess is the word. Like, I'm just crying my eyes out, and I just could not believe it. And my mom's crying. She feels terrible, and I'm like, it's not your fault at all. Like, for whatever reason, like that happened. It's not on you. Like, that's on him. You know, my grandma's sitting there, and she's like 100% stoic. You know, like I said, and my grandma's the sweetest lady that you could ever meet. And I had asked her, you know, like, she's like, you know, I'm sad because my grandson is sad and my daughter's sad, but I can't feel anything. Like, she's like, you know, when we had a farm, we had animals, and of course the animals are there to serve a purpose, you know, like the dog herds the sheep or whatever. You know, things happen. Animals pass away. That's just a way of life. We don't look at them like they're pets. We just look at them like they serve a purpose. And even she was the oldest of like 12 kids on the farm, and so basically she was like all the kids' parents. And so one day her parents had told them, oh, take the kids down to the watering hole or whatever. And there was twins, and they go swimming. They get out, and the twins end up getting sick. They get pneumonia, and they pass away. And I know she definitely probably always thought about that, but I had asked her about that, and she's like, even in a situation like that, of course it's sad that kids pass away, but we need 12 kids to take care of everything that needs to be taken care of on the farm. So we go back home, and my parents need to have more kids. We don't have time to sit around and cry about it. Like the butter needs churning, the cows need milking, whatever. I don't know. I don't live on a farm. I don't know what needs to be done. But she said, the show goes on, basically. Again, obviously, even at that time, I was no stranger to those emotions. I think 2 months prior, I had just lost my best friend. But that's definitely something that's always, I would say, stuck with me. Again, I'm not my grandma. I'm a different person, right? But simply out of necessity, these things need to be done, right? And again, going back to training and tying it all back in, I think about, oh, I have a tummy ache and I can't do 3 sets of 10 on the bench press on some demands that I chose to put myself through. Like, again, it puts everything in perspective. I'm blessed to be able to sit around and cry about my cat. And, Adam, he's chosen this life to raise this cattle, this livestock, to feed his family, essentially. These aren't hard times. These are just demands that we've imposed upon ourselves. Yeah, well, basically, you get the gist of this ramble. This video's already gone on long enough, so we'll talk about the training tomorrow or something. I really do appreciate everyone who's allowed me to share almost a year here with you guys on YouTube. And it's taco time, so I'll talk to you guys tomorrow.